sitting from my favourite little spot in the polytunnel next to the comfrey, which the bees seem to love. We'll just turn it round. So we've got quite a lot of stuff going on, mainly onions in the polytunnel, but we've got a grapevine, some peas, nasturtium, our garlic. Got quite a few seeds out. We've got some comfrey and lemon balm, celery, marigolds, lots of brassicas and things like that, so they're all coming along. And we planted our our tomatoes. There's our strawberries, and yeah, some lettuce and stuff like that. So lots going on in the polytunnel, and it'll be nice to start to see things growing. But yeah, it's a lovely little spot, our polytunnel, and it's surprising how warm it gets. It was 2.5 this morning, but we often find it gets up to the 30, so even at this time of the day, which is 8 o'clock, 26.8. So you can imagine, a lovely little spot, especially when the weather's a bit grim, and it can be in the 20s and 30s in here, sometimes 40s obviously when it's a lot summery. But just walk you through. Obviously we've got our shed there, which is full of wood at the moment, our lovely little shed. So yes, that's all full of wood. Can't wait to deck that out. We've got to finish doing the inside, but mainly that's all storage for wood for the cabin. So pretty amazing really. And we've now got a new drive. We're going to chop that tree down there so we can get a bit more access, and this is all going to get stone, and then we're going to knock this shed down here and make that into a bit more of a drive, so we can basically sort of drive down here and sort of park, and it takes it away. And we've just got a bit of temporary Dennis fencing, so you can see that it's all a bit of a work in progress, with lots of wood and stuff going on, lots of chopping down of trees and lots of storage of wood. But yeah, it'd be nice to have, this will be eventually like a sort of like a gravel patio area with like railway sleepers and stuff like that, because at the moment we've got slate and it's terrible when it's frosty. It's so slippery, it's like an ice rink. So we're going to kind of like make all this a nice little courtyard area, and then this is going to be like a herb garden and maybe some compost heaps here. And then we're going to block this drive in and then just have a little pedestrian access and chop all those trees down. Well, kind of like make them more very low level hedging. And this is our raised beds. So you can see the polytunnel there in the shed, our raised beds here. We get loads of stuff out of there. They're called Tom and Barbara. All the beds are named so we know what's in them. But it's been a bit of a free-for-all this year. We've had loads of chamomile that we've got to replant. We do, if we get a volunteer plant, we tend to kind of put it somewhere else. So there's loads of nasturtiums and chamomile in there. So we'll put those down in the other garden. We've got our kind of like our own one and only little kind of flower bed, I suppose. This is all going to get extended at some point. That's called our Three Sisters bed, where we do pumpkins, sweet corn and peas and beans. So the peas and beans grow up the sweet corn, and then the pumpkins and as you know, beans are nitrogen fixers. So, but that's yet to be done. So that's something next on our list. And then we've got our rhubarb. I think we're going to put the strawberries in with there. But we had a bit of a halt to proceedings this year, because this whole area along here, going all the way up, they put a new pipe, so they dug all this area out. They came down that that little area there with a mini digger, and dug it all out. How they didn't ruin our polytunnel, I have no idea. But they dug a massive drain, massive ditch all the way along here, so they could put pipe in. I'll just go and show you what it looks like. We're going to make it look prettier, but it's just well water. Not very pretty at the moment, but what we're going to do is kind of dig that out a bit so that we can make a little kind of reservoir, and again hopefully we can use that water. We've also dug in efforts to kind of reuse water. We've got the downpipe on that big bit of roof, and we've dug ourselves with a little mini digger. We dug a whole kind of like trench down here so that all the roof water goes into our swale. So this kind of like feeds this kind of like berm here. So we've got a little tiny, you can just see there's a little pipe in there. I need to put a little grid in there actually so little animals don't get stuck up there. But yeah, so that's the idea, is this fills with water and then it kind of like slows the water down across the landscape really. The idea was we were going to have another swale, but we just decided just to do the one really, just to slow things down. But we've got our sea buckthorn, very high in vitamin C. That's all autumn olive along there. So this bit down here, this paddock, will all be quite rustic looking. But the trees have gone in now, so we've got lots of apple, raspberry, blueberry, Victoria plum, raspberry, and we're putting like little borage plants. Then we've got a load of chamomile that have just literally gone in this week, and obviously we're going to add more. We'll have like a swathe of chamomile because we love our chamomile tea. Lots of different fruit bushes, raspberries, blackcurrants, blackberries. So there's pretty much all along there, and it's a bit more rhubarb somewhere along there. But yeah, there's all our trees. So it needs a bit of a trim around here. We've then got like a little area of willow. I did plant some volunteer willow in there, so that some of that's died off, so I need to kind of get all that out. And we're eventually going to have a walk through here, which I've started to dig out, but it's just such a horrendous job doing it by hand. So we've got a tree guy that comes round, and I'll make sure that he brings his digger next time so we can do it. But yeah, good to have trees in place. And this sort of area here is going to be mainly all wildflowers for the bees. So we've got a hazelnut, we've got another cherry tree up there with a load of raspberries around it, hazelnut, and another fruit tree, and then we've got a fig tree gone in there. So we're going to have a weeping willow down there, and then next year, or at the end of the autumn this year, we're going to put a load of hedgerow sort of fruit trees. So we'll have elderflower and sort of those like hedgerow fruits as well. So we'll have another load of and that will go pretty much all the way up there, right up, I think it's 20 metres we're going to get to about there, I think. Cover that fence up. So the pond is the biggest thing at the moment. Constant battle with the pond, but at least it's filled up with water. It has got a huge amount of algae on it at the moment, but the trouble is, as soon as you clear it, it comes back because obviously it's in the sun. And I know we need to put a load of plants in it, but because there's still loads of stuff growing through the bottom, it's a case we just clear it every couple of months, leave the algae on it, because especially now there's frogs in it and newts and stuff like that, so they seem to love it. So we try and clear it around the seasons. But we have got one little tiny lily pad on there. That little rock thing, that's kind of like a little drain, so it fills up and then it kind of drains back into the ditch kind of over there. So it does fill up, but at the moment it hasn't been. So what we want to do is, where the water comes in from the well, we're going to make another sort of little pond area there, so that when this pond kind of drains, we can at least manually top it up with well water. And Fraser originally wanted to kind of like hide this stream. We call it a stream, I suppose it's an artificial one. But I think it's quite lovely. In the evening, all this bank kind of gets lit up, and we've got a load of bluebells there. So the council is supposed to come and dredge it, because they're the ones that put the pipe in. And they are supposed to be coming to dredge this, but if they don't, then I think I might do it myself, and just kind of clean it all up. I've taken a load of rubbish out of it, but there's still like a bit of a remnants of a metal fence, so that needs all cutting out, and there's a tyre and some other bits. So we're already starting to see some ferns growing, because this was all under shade. So the fact that this now gets light, I think a few more plants will start to appear, and I might just fill this in with like some bog type plants. This gets very wet here, so it'll be all sort of like boggy plants. I think it'll look lovely. And then if we get a load of stones, we're gonna, from taking everything, the walls down, we'll just build like a rockery type thing there, so it'll hide that, and I think it'll be quite lovely. But yeah, at the moment the plastic is just trying to kill the weeds off. It kind of gets all a bit overrun in the summer, so we're just going to try and do that. And I think we might need somebody's help with the pond, just to try and keep on top of the weeds and the algae. I know that with algae, really it's a case of putting lots of oxygen type plants in there. We don't really want to do a pump if we can help it, but if we have to do that, then I suppose we have to do that. But we don't have any electricity down here, so but I have heard people doing it with plants and just getting the balance right. We don't want to have fish or anything in there, it's just a case of doing that. But yeah, at least it's taken about 2 years to get water in it. So that's all good. And the fact that we've got lots more wildlife come here now. We get sparrowhawks, we get the odd heron, we've got shrews, we've got newts, and lots of frogs, so it's all good. But yeah, this is going to be our next job to look at, I think. Try and do that. And then the cabin, that's just started. After 2 years, we've managed to get the drawings after 2 years of wrangling with the guy that designed it. And one of the joiners that is part of that group, they sort of disbanded just after we got the cabin put up, and he's now helping us put it together. So we've done the joists and the noggins, and as you can see, Fraser's all cut the wood for the next phase, which is I think it's starting to do the walls of some kind. So I think they kind of come into like little box sections. So yeah, it's all good. Hopefully we'll have it watertight by the winter. That'll be good. But we've got all the wood and all the stuff for it, so that's a big job to finish. But yeah, that's kind of pretty much it. It's all looking good at the moment. I'm excited to see how all the wildflowers look, things that we've planted, and we'll kind of do little walkthroughs around there with the lawnmower. But yeah, potatoes coming through, lots of herbs, still lots of work to continue to do. It's all been quite tricky the last couple of years with both of us with work. We've been so busy, It's just sitting my favourite little. Been so busy with work, sometimes we've not even had weekends off really, so we've managed to keep on top of it, especially with the polytunnel and the beds outside. That's been our sort of mainstay of food that we can put in the freezer, but lovely to have all those fruit trees and things in the paddock this year, and slowly adding to it. So anyway, just thought to give you an update, and see you soon. Okay, take care, bye.